Heroes Like Us is a series intended at sharing comic book characters from various backgrounds and identities. We won't always get everything right, so feel free to make amendments and corrections in the comments. They're always appreciated. What's not appreciated, however, is any form of hate speech or intolerance, so comments of that nature will be immediately deleted and those users blocked from this channel. This is a place of education and celebration. Welcome to I'm Your Target Demographic, and welcome to Heroes Like Us, our series where we look at certain identities and then we look at comic book characters that have those identities. Today we're covering Filipino characters. Now, I did a video a while back that was other Asian countries because I could only find one really reference to Filipino characters in all of the big two. So now I've had a little more time and I've been able to find some, especially indie characters and kind of lesser known characters that we can talk about. So we're going to start with an upcoming book that is currently being kickstarted that I think you need to pay attention to. So let's talk about Medic. Medic is a character in what's called the Leaders of the Free World, which is written and created by Corey Pruitt. Now, Medic, in this world, she is the daughter of two angels, an angel of war and an angel of mercy. And they know that this love is forbidden, so they come to Earth, and they live in the Philippines, and they kind of take on a Filipino lifestyle. But they can't hide this forever, and they're eventually taken back, leaving their daughter now in the Philippines to fend for herself. She has inherited the powers of both her father and her mother. So she has these destructive war powers as well as these healing capabilities. So it's a really interesting dichotomy, and she uses these powers to basically fight alongside other heroes from all over the world, hence the name Leaders of the Free World, to stop some sort of major threat. If this sounds interesting to you and you want to learn about the other heroes that are spanning the globe, make sure you check out the link in the description to their current Kickstarter. It is almost fully funded and it will be ending soon. So hop on now or keep an eye out because for sure you'll be hearing more from this later. This will be a real big thing. So hop on now while you can. Our next character that we're going to talk about is Captain Steel, Hank Haywood Jr. from Earth 2 in the DC Comics universe. Hank was born with a congenital bone disease, which basically gave him brittle, weak bones. So his dad, who is a scientist, basically coats his bones with a metal that basically gives him super strength and close to invulnerability. And for some reason, because comic books, the ability to control metal. Okay, we'll buy it. He then uses these powers to fight crime. Eventually, he is killed. He goes into basically this fire pit where a red lantern is captured, and as he's trying to escape and tell the world they're coming, he is basically killed. So he has a short time span, but it is cool to see a major character in one of those books as a Filipino. Up next, we're talking about Grail, Salvador Joel Allende from WildStorm Comics. Now, Joel, as they call him, joined the Philippines military and succeeded across the board, eventually rising to the point where he was recruited by something called Team 7, which was kind of a U.S. military operation. They recruited him, and they kind of did black ops operations, stuff like that. Now, on one of these missions, they discover basically this symbiote, kind of like the symbiotes in Marvel Comics, where this alien would kind of go into their body or into their suit, and when they needed it, it would come out and form this sort of armor. Now, his symbiote kind of fused with his life energy, his chi, and they blended together and became this kind of light blue energy that could cover his body and give him these incredible powers. Now, this sort of energy was also kind of radioactive, and so he would use it for short times, but eventually that became his way of being. And he was afraid of other people being hurt by this energy that he kind of retreated. He left the team, wanted to be left alone, and has kind of left action. Up next from Alamat Comics is Alexandra Trese from the comic Trese. Alexandra is a private detective who has basic magic abilities and uses these abilities to find and stop supernatural threats. She's kind of like a Constantine kind of character that when other people don't know what to do, she shows up. So she uses her powers to find out what's happening, deduce clues, and then eventually save the day. She has two powerful beings that are with her fighting these threats, called the Cambal, and these are kind of two human-like characters, but have incredible strength and abilities, and are very mysterious for much of the run. The graphic novel there's a lot of graphic novels to look up. They're relatively case by case, meaning they're kind of not really connected to a larger overarching plot. They're kind of cases, so each one is her tackling a different thing. And they're also based around Filipino mythology. You know, what's happening in the Philippines and the supernatural things that they believe and folklore, but modernizing them and sometimes making them more threatening than maybe the initial stories were. Lastly, I want to touch on the one Filipino group that I did mention in my other video, but you might have found this video first, so let's talk about the Triumph division for Marvel Comics. Now, in Marvel Comics, in the Philippines, we have a group called the Triumph division, and this is a group of heroes that all pass down the mantle of their superhero. You know, they pass on that mantle through generations. And so, for example, Red Feather, who's one of the leaders, would then train his son or daughter to become the Red Feather later down the line. Unfortunately, they've only been part of one major storyline, and the plot point was that they were all killed. That basically there was a terrorist attack that incited, other things to happen. It was kind of this big Iron Man story, and they were all killed. So it's unfortunate they have access to this team of characters and didn't really use them well. The characters are interesting, so hopefully someday Marvel does something with them other than just use them as a plot point. So that is it for this video. That's like 5 characters that hopefully you didn't know about, that hopefully you watch this and you're like, those characters are cool, and maybe this gets you to try out some of those books. So check out, the books that we talked about, the Kickstarter, the indie titles. Check them out down in the description. If you think of other characters, let me know. So down in the comments, tell me if I'm missing people. Check out our other Heroes Like Us videos. We have over 50 of them right now. So even check out identities that you don't affiliate with and see what's out there. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.